Well, here we are again, book 3 in this awesome set of books, Ruin by John Gwynne. And holy cow, I don't even know where to start with this book. We're going to start with no spoilers as usual and then do spoilers later on. If you've read the first two and liked them, this one's even better. You're going to love it. If you've been iffy on the first two, keep going. Keep going. You got 2 more books in this one. Holy cow. Holy cow, the crazy stuff that happens in this book. Um, it starts out, we had a lot going on at the end of the last one, huh? Book number 2 ended with quite a bang. But this one, it starts off kind of with people not sure what they're doing, especially our main characters. Well, Nathaire, yeah, he's got a lot to think about since the last time we saw him. But Corbin, he's still trying to come to terms with what he is. If he even believes it, he's in that stage of believing he's the bright son, but maybe doesn't want to. So at the beginning of this book, he's a little he doesn't want to make decisions, right? He's thinking, crap, whatever decision I make, it's going to get people killed. I don't want to be responsible for getting people killed. He's got that oath to Idana that he made a while back, and so he wants to keep true on that. But then you've got the prophecy that he has to go to Drassel. So, people are pulling him 2 ways, as hard as pulling him one way. Eventually, he's just like, well, they're both kind of over in that general direction, so let's just start walking. And then when we get closer, I'll make a decision. So really, for the first couple hundred pages, they're just kind of walking along. Not much is really going on. Same with Nathaire, that whole side, they've got to regroup and figure out what their next step is as well. Really, the first third of this book is following Maquin and Fidel. They escaped Lycos and they're trying to get to Ripa. So it's following them through the forest, their journey together, them getting to know each other. They do discover something interesting on their way, though. So I'll leave you to find out about that. Then we've got Camlin and Idana. They're making their way to the marshes to find this resistance. There's a resistance that's been talked about, built up somewhere in this place that people know exists, but they don't know how to find it in these marshes. So they're off to find that resistance, build a stronghold, or at least a group, because she still has to go back and take her throne back. So the first third of the book, it's not with our main characters. We get it kind of with these side folks. But then, and I took a whole bunch of notes on my phone, and even on my phone, there's like nothing for the first almost 300 pages. But then around page, I'm going to look here, I think it's about page 300, 365. 365, the roller coaster, it gets going, and holy cow, the stuff that goes on. As with the last one, we get some pretty good fight and battle scenes, but once again, I think the gore level has been ratcheted up. There is a scene in a battle in this one that is holy cow. You had to read it slowly, and you're just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening. So that's crazy. More battles, more sword fights, all the stuff you love is in this one too, plus a little something extra that, again, I'll let you discover. That's going to be it for no spoilers, because there's no way to talk any more about this without spoiling anything. It's more of the stuff you love, and then some. So get on it, read it, come back for the spoiler section of this video, comment down below, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you next time. We're going to go on to spoilers, so see ya. Are we ready? You turned it off, right? If you haven't read it, turn it off. Okay, here we go. Trying to think of where to start with spoilers and talking about this. I think obviously you just gotta go with the big elephant non-prophecy in the room. It's all made up. They made it up. You buttheads. I can't believe that's what it is. Now, I'm sure we all had the same reaction as Corbin did. You're just like gut punched and whatever. But then it switches pretty quickly to where it's like, okay, well, it doesn't matter, does it? Like Corbin thinks we're in this situation, whether we like it or not. Whether I like it or not, everybody's following me. Whether I like it or not, the Catashim are coming. So whether there's this prophecy, I'm the bright star or whatever, the stuff is happening. So we can't just sit back and be like, you know what, never mind. The prophecy was fake. choose another leader and I'm going to go home. You can't. You just have to do what you've been doing and continue until the end, whether that's finishing the job or you getting finished. Because doesn't Miko say, it's like, oh, but you can make it come true. That's not the same. That's not the same as having the like hand of God guiding me through everything, being there on my shoulder when I'm fighting. Oh, what's his name? I'm terrible with names. When he's fighting Jail's champion, thinking, oh, God is on my side. He will guide my sword, guide my shield, and then find out, yeah, he's not. He's not here. You got lucky. You got lucky on that one. That would make me throw up. So, as much as a big deal as it is that the prophecy is a lie and Corbin's really just Corbin, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You got to do what you got to do. So that's the big reveal in this book, and in the end, to me, it kind of doesn't matter because everything's going to go on the same, whether we found this out or not. So I don't know, a big twist that doesn't really go anywhere, I guess, but it's still an interesting reveal. All right, so who do we talk about here? As I mentioned, I took a ton of notes throughout all this because the end. Let's get to Corbin stuff. Macwin and Fidel, you know, an interesting pair when they're going through and they see those giants. Were you like me, just thinking, it's like, okay, who are these giants? A mother and son. Who could they be from? It wasn't until someone, I think she did, when they went to rescue them, and she said what clan she was from. And of course, me, I've forgotten which clans are which and who's with who. But when she said it, I'm like, oh, is that the one Alcyon's from? And I immediately thought, wife and son. And then you're thinking, oh, that's why he has no choice in anything. And of course, we find out later that it's true in that trial after, of course, Macklin, what are you doing going nuts? I mean, this Lycos guy, he is just the worst. So when Macklin goes nuts at that Rowan meet and jumps across and nearly kills them, you're like, yes, yes, yes. But he lives through it again and he gets captured again. And you're like, dude, what are you doing? Yeah, that was disappointing. Twice you thought he was dead. All right, the first time I'll give to you, but second time he should have been dead, and Lycos still lives, so give me a break with that. I'm glad to see Veridus, his conscience, and his real self is coming through, where, you know, he's not going along with all this Dark Lord and stuff, and it's like, hey, you know what? Evil's just a word, and just because some people say we're evil doesn't make it true. To us, we're good, and they're evil. And he's like, no, you're evil. So I'm really glad. I figured that was going to happen, right? He wasn't going to stand along forever with that. So glad to see that he's finally come to his senses and helped them out. It was really cool with him going up there and pushing, what's his name, Calidus into the fire. That was good stuff. And then Alcyon grabbing at him and jumping out the window. Fantastic, fantastic. And then there's the group in the marshes with Camlin and Idana. Of course, we get Camlin captured, and then rescued, uncaptured, and whatnot, all that kind of fun stuff with the boats in the fire. It was good stuff. It's not my most, not the most interesting storyline to me. You wonder how it's all going to come around, right? Obviously, they're all going to get back together again. Or you wonder if it's going to be Kraft doing, you know, message running back and forth, and somebody comes in to help at the last minute or something. So that's something we got to see. But really, while I'm not bored with those sections, it's just like, okay, where's this going? Kind of like with Macklin and Fidel, right? I wasn't always bored with their sections. It's just like, why are we spending so much time with these people? Obviously, they're meant for something bigger later on, but for now, it's interesting, but what's the bigger picture? Then there's the battle at Graham's Hold. Wow. I would love to see this in like live action, this story with giants riding on bears into battle. That would be insane. It's like, how do you fight that? How do you fight that? And it's like shows people, you know, the giants, they're big, but they're not like giants. So you can see how a normal person can take them down, but the giant on a bear, if they're like giant brown bear, grizzly bears, come on. It's a bit much for me, one person taking down bears and the giant riding them. But holy cow, when they bust in there and tie them up or nail them up, and he slices open the belly and the bear starts eating it. And you're like, oh, Ooh, that is rough. Do you ever see that movie, Cocaine Bear? I think that happens too at the end, right? He gets his belly sliced, but then the little bear cubs start eating the intestines. Cocaine Bear, if you want a crazy, non-serious horror movie. But that's what I was thinking of. But yeah, that whole scene, getting nailed up to the pillar and then sliced open, is like hearing his cries as he was having his intestines eaten. Oh, that was crazy. And Tuchel going nuts. Yeah, it's just good stuff. Really, really good stuff. I mean, depressing and horrible to read, but for the writing, I mean, excellent job writing this, Mr. Gwynne. That was fantastic stuff. And then we get the battle at the end, which went along pretty normal, other than the duel with Corbin. I might have to find that guy's name. Pardon me. It's Sumer? Is that what it is? I can't remember. He fights him. And again, Corbin always just feels overpowered to me. Like, how is Corbin taking on this demon-fed body of this guy? Lucky hit. I mean, a smart move, but it just seems... This whole time, I'm just not buying how good Corbin is. I know we always get the training, right? They'll mention, by this point in the third book, it's like he saw Gar standing over there and he went into like sword stance or falcon stance. So we know he's practicing every day doing this stuff. But I don't know. To me, it just feels like he shouldn't be as good as he is. Is it just me? I don't know. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Anywho, he takes him on. Then we get the big old battle. And then we get, who is it? Jail's swordman? What's his name? Ulfilas or whatever. His perspective through the battle, like kind of looking what's going on. And so he's like, oh, I see some of my guys getting really roughed up over there. He's like, yeah, I'm not going that way. And oh, the archers, yeah, I'm not going that way. Let me just kind of go. Oh, there's a guy. Hey, what's going on? Ooh, yeah, I'm not going that way. He's like, not going over there. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, so we got the battle. You know what happens then. How about Rafe drinking from the cup? Huh? What's going to happen with that? That was something unexpected and interesting. Drinking from that cup, writhing in pain. See what happens with that later. Does he get some kind of power? Like you go through all that pain and then is he going to end up being the Black Sun? Which seems too on the nose, right? Have the childhood bully become the Black Sun. Even though I know the Black Sun doesn't technically exist anymore. But there's that. And then the end, when it says, it wasn't bad enough that Corbin heard Storm howling. What was even worse was when she stopped howling. And there's no way they kill her, right? Or there's no way she's dead, all right? Right? She's got to come back. I'm thinking she's got to come back. There's no way they just leave her like that. She'll come charging back, limping along somewhere, somehow, and she'll be ripping out throats before you know it. So that's it. Ruin. What's the next one? I got the next one up here. Is it Wrath? Wrath. So I have no idea as for predictions in this one. Because again, it seems like the end of the second one. We had this big battle, and then now we're kind of going to have to disperse again and regroup. So maybe it's book 3 all over again. When is Azeroth going to come through into the human world, this world? Is Elyon going to come back? I don't know. But for now, I guess everybody's just on the run. We'll have to regroup and see what happens. So I don't know. I don't feel like I have as many like ooh, I wonder what's going to happen with this and this like I did after the second book. This one kind of ended and you're like, all right, we're going to have to just find another way. So anywho, thank you guys so much for watching. We're moving on to the 4th book, and I'll post that review as soon as I get done with it. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.